So you have to bear with me. I'm on Pacific Coast time. I flew in yesterday, and the reason why I'm now on East Coast time is that, as you may know, this is reunion weekend. So I'm here with some of my classmates. Some of them right here. I can see sitting in the choir. And the one balcony, where's Shell? There it is. So there's a few of us you're going to be seeing around campus. A few old guys, I guess, older guys, I like to say. I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about for this talk, and a few of my friends said, well, what could you possibly have to say if you were a lifelong Group 3 guy? What could you possibly have to say this during class? Well, I said the first thing is, for those that don't know, or that do know, in the wintertime it's freezing cold here, and there's some heat vents right along the walls here, so it behooves you to get here early when it's freezing cold in the winter. So if there's one pearl of wisdom that I would share with you, that would be it. Let me paint a picture of what life was like 28 years ago when I showed up here. I was a sophomore, so I didn't have to start in the freshman vein, and I showed up at Dunbar North. And Dunbar North. It was not a good crew. And we had, let's see, 20-inch TVs gathered around every Friday night religiously to watch Miami Vice. We had a payphone that was in the middle of the hallway, which I'm not sure if you guys have even seen a payphone. We all have cell phones now. But it was in the middle of the hall, so you had to really learn how to whisper softly to tell your mom that you loved her. You were studying hard. So really there's no privacy whatsoever. And then if you played baseball, soccer, or track and field, you had the privilege of risking your life every day as you tried to cross Route 22 to get to. You had no bridge, and you did it in your cleats. So it was, insurance plaintiff's dream, potentially. So really, other than that, I don't think much has changed. I've come back over the years to Trinity-Pawling in the chapel. I recall this being a lot higher than it is now, but the temperatures are still the same. Everybody's still wearing coats and ties other than myself, but when we get to the chapel talking, we wear what we want. Other than I guess the routine is pretty much the same, right? You're gonna listen to chapel talks periodically with guys like myself. You wake up at 7, you do breakfast, you do lunch, you do your classes, you do your sports, study hall, it's lights out. There was a guy named Mr. Pickerton that started a campaign for, he was part of the alumni and the giving office. He started a campaign called the Tide Fund. Remember that? Yep. Okay, just make sure you can. And the point was he was trying to tie together all the classes, whether it was 1958, 2008, 2018, that we're all bound together no matter what class you guys came from, right? And he had these visual cues, which were the actual neckties that he would show to remind you of this campaign. So it's like bow ties, neckties, big, fat ones, skinny ones, and I thought it was actually pretty cheesy at the time. But over the years of coming back, I think there's a lot of truth to that, because there's definitely a lot of, not just the routine here, but the unique experience that you get here at TP. Because when you show up, whether you're a freshman or you're a PG, you're surrounded by guys that probably none of you guys have met before, right? So it's essentially, for the most part, it's a family, whether you like it or not. And just like a family, there's certain guys that immediately you hit it off and they're friends, right off the bat. They're friends for life. I had some of the guys who I went to school with here were in my wedding. I still keep in touch with, and others I haven't seen in 25 years, like Chris Black sitting right over there. But we have that connection and bonding because of that. But there's other guys that you can kind of take or leave, right? And then there's other guys that also just transfer. But the reality is, you've got 8.5 months that you're stuck on this campus, right? I mean, unless you're, Group 1, you're getting weekends away, but unless you live driving distance, you're probably not going too far. If you're in the West Coast, how often you get on campus and, you know, if you're overseas, brutal, right, Korea? Korea, I mean, you really got to figure out how to get along with each other. And that's part of the process that goes on here at TP. Part of the 25th reunion, there was a few of us. Mike Sheldon's back, Dave Tyree over here. We did an informal committee to try and get a lot of guys to come to this 25th reunion, kind of a big reunion, right? And there was a few guys that you know, couldn't make it, obviously, you know, wife, kids, jobs, etc. There were some people, though, I think they didn't say this, but just the experience that they had here, they decided not to come. And it wasn't because of the teachers, although Mr. Reed may have had it in some influence. But it's really the interactions that they had with us. And, you know, everybody has the right to be back here, and everybody should want to come back here. So that's, I thought that was really important, which is what I wanted to talk a little bit about, which is, you know, to hear all the time about character building at TP, right? What is that? You know, you don't get tested for it. No one's, you know, going to test you, say, you know, how you guys did with building your character, right? There's no exam. How do you know? You know, I would say it's throughout the week and the moments throughout every day that you guys interact with each other. It can happen, you know, spur of the moment. How you behave and how you guys talk with each other. And it's really just about being accountable to yourself and to other people when you guys are, you know, hanging out, right? So you have a unique opportunity because there's so many different people from different walks of life, from different socioeconomic backgrounds, etc. This is an opportunity to work on how to get along with each other. Because these are the things that are going to apply when you go out into the world. You know, whether it's family, whether it's in work. There's going to be people you just don't like, but you got to figure out how to get along, and you have to, you know, basically be that higher self. I just saw down in the dining hall there was a sign that said, what was it? The Luke? Who knows the sign on it? What is it? Exactly. You guys have been given a great opportunity here. You know, the education you receive here is phenomenal, and I'm personally grateful for the education that I received here. And the faculty for their commitment. I mean, the fact that Mr. Reed, Mr. Taylor was still here just recently last year, and Mr. Smith is still here, is just a testament to their commitment to, you know, building good young men, right? It's really you guys, I think, on the day-to-day interactions that you guys have and your commitment to each other. So, you know, when you walk out of here, some of you guys are going to be, you know, magna cum laudes, there's going to be MVPs, there's going to be, you know, 4-year veteran, things like that. And that's great, you know, you look at great titles. And when you go out in life and you get a JD, which for some of you who don't know, that's a law degree, or an MD and you become a doctor, or if you're Mr. Taylor's son, Will, who comes back out here, he's the, you know, the history teacher. Who's the person behind the title? That's what I challenge you with, is to think about that when you think about character building. You know, 25 years later, I have an appreciation for that because the foundation was laid here for me. It's still a constant effort. You have to be really vigilant. It requires a lot of effort to you know, not go down that slippery slope of herd nature, ribbing versus trying to inflict hurt, right? And it requires effort, it requires courage. And I understand now that ties that bind reference really it makes a lot more sense, especially coming back here. So I hope that is the message that I leave you with today. Thank you.